Welcome in, everyone, to another little history lesson. We've been doing these. You guys have all been really responding to them well, and you're really enjoying them. So we're going to keep doing them. Before we get into the next one, the new one, Delta Force's daring prison raid, I need you to smash the like and subscribe button. That helps more people spread the channel, and it helps us grow. So like and subscribe and comment with your thoughts as we get into this. What are we talking about today? We're talking about today, actually, one of my all-time favorite Delta Force subjects, and that is Operation Acid Gambit. So what is Operation Acid Gambit? Well, it took place on December 20th, 1989, during the invasion of Panama. Let's get into a little background. There was this dictator, strongman, Manuel Noriega in Panama. The United States said, you got to go. You're out of here. You're gone. And we sent in troops to get that done. And part of that was we had to conduct a crazy hostage rescue mission of a man by the name of Kurt Muse. Now, who is Kurt Muse? Kurt Muse is allegedly, reportedly, I don't really know what we can say at this point in time, was a CIA operative. Now, he was arrested for broadcasting radio signals, allegedly, by the Panamanians ahead of the invasion of Panama. So he was living down there. He was an expat. The Panamanians arrested him for being a spy, and they held him at a prison, a notorious prison, a horrific place called Carcel Modelo. So the United States, they know we've got to go get this guy. They know an invasion is happening. The Panamanians know an invasion is likely imminent. And so more than anything, they arrest this guy because they really don't need him as a prisoner. They need him as a hostage, which is exactly what happened. So he's being held in this third world hellhole of a prison. And the United States is trying to figure out, how do we get this guy back? Because if we launch an invasion and we don't have Kurt Muse back in our custody, odds are very high that the Panamanian Defense Force will execute and or, torture him, kill him, whatever it might be. So we're not going to allow that to happen. There's no way we're going to let that happen. The United States makes the decision. We're going to go get him. They choose well, actually, let me say this because this is very important. While they do that, a squadron of Delta Force is selected to conduct this hostage rescue mission. Before the mission happens, a colonel visits Muse in the prison he's being held in and states very, very, very loudly for everyone in the room that he knows there is a guard tasked with taking Muse out in the event of an invasion. Thus, he is not a prisoner. He is a hostage. And if he is hurt at all, the United States is committed to making sure no guard in this prison walks out alive. So we essentially tell the Panamanians, look, you hurt this guy. We're going to come in here and we're going to wipe out every single guard that's in here. Plain and simple. You hurt one hair. If one hair is out of place on Kurt Muse's head when we come get him, everyone here is getting smoked. Plain and simple, cut and dry. Now, the colonel made those comments knowing fully well that the rescue mission would be happening soon. So he was essentially putting them on notice. So let's get into the rescue mission, Operation Acid Gambit. Delta Force, first large successful hostage rescue mission. Remember, they had tried a hostage rescue mission in Iran. I believe that was called Operation Eagle Claw. We might have to do a whole video on that. That was during the Iranian hostage crisis. It did not go well. A bunch of people got killed. They never even made it into Tehran. And unfortunately, it was a horrific event. And they've been looking to kind of cleanse that, wash that away from them. And the opportunity to rescue Kurt Muse, really more than anything, represented the chance for Delta to get back in the fight, to really wash away what had happened with Operation Eagle Claw in Iran. And that's what they wanted to do. So A Squadron, 23 assaulters from A Squadron are selected as the rescue force. Now, they're flown in by members of 160th SOAR. But obviously before that, they're conducting training on this mission weeks and weeks and weeks ahead of time. So what they do is they start pounding essentially the Panamanian version of their Pentagon, okay? So, we have the Pentagon. It's right outside Washington, D.C., and it's where our military, kind of the nucleus of our military is. They had a similar compound. So two C-130 gunships, I think Spectre gunships, start just hammering this building. This is right around the time the main invasion is going to kick off. And why do they do that? Well, they do that for one very simple reason. They need to draw attention away from Carcel Modelo, the hellhole prison Kurt Muse is in, and they need everyone focused on the Panamanian Pentagon. While that's happening, little birds loaded up with Delta Force operators, 23 to be specific, they're being flown in low and fast to the prison to go get Muse. But now remember, there is a guard, allegedly, who has been tasked with killing Kurt Muse. And maybe in one of the coolest things in the history of Delta Force, and I know Delta Force has done a lot of cool things over the years. That is very, very obvious to anyone who's ever paid attention to what the Tier 1 organization does. They have a guy, and he comes down the side of the wall, okay? He's come down the side of the wall where they know Muse's prison cell is, and he's going to try to take this guard out through the bars. Now, the guard doesn't happen to be there. Lucky for him or unlucky for him, as we're about to find out. While that Delta Force operator is going down the side of the wall to take what would have been maybe the most incredible shot at that point in time in Delta's history, the rest of the assault squadron is blowing their way through the prison. They pack a massive explosive on one of the breach points and they blow their way in. Now, at this point, members of A Squadron do meet resistance. There's a guard, the guard that they thought was going to be in the cell is seen outside the cell. He is immediately eliminated by the A Squadron assaulters. The assaulters attempt to shoot through the lock on Muse's cell. It does not work. They shoot it at least twice. The lock does not break. At that point, a decision is made by the assault team that they are going to pack a massive explosive on this door, and they're going to blow it open, and they're going to get Muse out of there. That's exactly what they did. It works like a charm. Now, you might be thinking, well, look, this is awesome. We just rolled in. We just kicked these guys' butts, and we're getting out of here. I mean, this was easy peasy. These guards never stood a chance. Well, not quite. So around Carcel Modelo, there was a lot of anti-aircraft weapons. There was a lot of heavy weapons because they expected exactly what happened to happen. A rescue attempt was made. So they put Muse in a bulletproof vest. They put him in they give him a ballistic helmet, goggles, and they throw him onto one of these helicopters. Now, the A Squadron assaulters, they hop on the helicopters and they're thinking, hey, let's blow this chicken coop and let's get the hell out of here. We did our job. While they fly out, they start taking heavy fire from the positions around the prison. One of the helicopters, the helicopter with Muse on it, actually gets shot down. So now an invasion's underway. The war is breaking out. All hell's broken loose. And Muse's chopper has been, the little bird has been shot down. And I believe they go down somewhere in a jungle-like area, but don't quote me on that. I don't know if those details have ever been made public or publicly revealed. The Delta operators do have a way to signal to reinforcements, I believe, with some kind of laser where they are. An armored personnel carrier and troops are sent to go get them. They gather Muse. They gather the Delta operators. I believe 4 Delta operators were injured in that crash, that shoot down. Fortunately, nobody was killed. And I believe one Delta Force operator said he didn't even know the helicopter had been shot down. So he gets back to the staging area where they launched the mission from, and he starts looking around, and he's like, where is everyone? They're like, we got to go back. The helicopter with Muse, the precious cargo, the guy they got sent in to rescue, has been shot down, and it is now somewhere in Panama. Ultimately, all the 23 Delta assaulters make it back. Nobody is killed. There are a couple injuries because of the shoot down. Muse is alive. He is well. He's been saved. And frankly, Operation Acid Gambit, which Gary Harrell, I also believe, played a major role in, was Delta Force's first successful hostage rescue mission. Now, Delta Force, again, has done a lot of things over the years that are absolutely incredible. You look at the global war on terror. You look at what they did in the Balkans. You look at when they're hunting Serbian war criminals. You look at Black Hawk Down. Delta has proved itself time and time again to be the best direct action military unit in the world, but it had never successfully, up until that point in time, had never successfully pulled off a hostage rescue of that magnitude, maybe at all, for all we know, because you got to remember a lot of that stuff is classified. So this was an opportunity to really cleanse, the sting of what had happened in Operation Eagle Claw when we lost a lot of guys, when that hostage rescue mission failed. They were like, we're not going to let that happen twice. I give all the credit in the world to the assaulters, the pilots. 160 assault pilots, they just don't get the credit they deserve. So everyone focuses on the Delta guys. I know some 160 assault pilots. best guys on the planet. They flew in under heavy fire. They landed the assault team. They got Muse. They flew him out. And yes, they even survived a shoot down, which in and of itself is absolutely crazy. So that is the story of Operation Acid Gambit, when Delta Force A Squadron members went into Panama shortly before the invasion against Manuel Noriega's government, his military, and rescued an American hostage that they absolutely, without hesitation, were going to kill had he not been rescued. And that's all there is to it. Another successful Delta Force story. Like I said, make sure to like and subscribe, and we're going to keep doing these videos because you guys like them. I like doing them, and it's great to have a little American history. I'll catch you next time. Like and subscribe.